Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you're a returning watcher. There isn't much going on in Raid this weekend. We've got a couple of tournaments and a couple of events, but nothing I would write home about. However, we do have a ×2 chance for legendaries and epics on Ancient Shards. So as you can see, the portal is blue. I spent loads of my resources over the festive period, so I don't have many Ancient Shards at the moment. I've got about 60 on each account. I'm going to pull all of those, see what we get. If we pull a legendary, I'll go through their kit. Anyone else, an epic or a rare, I'm not too fussed about. I'm not going to go through their kit. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're starting off on the Kale account, and as you can see, I've got 64 Ancient Shards on this account, and I have 64 on my Galek account as well. So we're going to be pulling all of those in hopes for a legendary champion. We also have a 10 times chance to pull Nekmo Thar, who's a really good champion for Hydra, for the Hydra clan boss. So if you pull him, don't feed him, don't put him in your vault, absolutely look into his kit, see what he's made of, and build him out and use him in Hydra. But I'll only go through his kit if we pull him. I don't hold much hope for pulling him, but you never know what we're going to get. I actually do have a copy on my Galek account of him already, so if I get another one, it might just be better. I could use him in more than one Hydra team, but we'll just see, and we'll go for his kit once we get him. Let's get into the first 10 pull. A legendary straight out the gate would be lovely. I don't think it's going to happen, especially not with those points. Why Renan the Silken, an epic, the only epic in that batch, not someone I know of, not someone I have ever seen used. So we're going to skip that because it's an epic anyway, and we'll just jump straight into the next 10 pull. I don't hold much hope for legendaries. It's only 64 per account. I've had quite a lot of good luck recently. On one of my last videos, I pulled 3 void legendaries in one pull. Torture Helm on this one, again, the only epic, only rares in the other one. So yeah, I've got 3 void legendaries in one of my videos. If you want some entertainment and see me sort of shell-shocked and not really knowing what to say, go back and watch that video, because I was absolutely stunned and I just went silent for a while. We've got a Sandlash Survivor and a Phenax in this pull. Not very interesting, either of them. I have copies on both of my accounts. On to the next one. 580 points. That's definitely not a legendary. I reckon that's 2 epics. A Gory, quite good for Hard Fire Knight. I do have a copy. I am building Gory out. I'm actually trying to beat the hard dungeon content. I've beat all of them except Fire Knight now. So I'm up to stage 10 hard on all of the other dungeons, just not Fire Knight. So Gory might have to come and sort of do his work in that dungeon for me, because I'm really struggling with that actually. And Morag Bronze Lock there. On to the next temple. No legendary still. Come on, fingers crossed. Another 580, Umatogi, and Alaric the Hooded. No one else of note in there. We've got two Elhanes and 1 Kale, but we've all seen the starter champions already. On to the next one. 830, that's a bit more impressive. It's a legendary. Jag Bonesaw. I actually don't know anything about this champion. I reckon that's a new champion that I don't know anything about. So we've got a Orc attack-based champion. On his A1, we've got attacks 1 enemy, steals 10% of the target's turn meter, has a 25% chance of repeating this skill. On his A2, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Before attacking, transfer all debuffs from this champion to the target. Damage from the first hit increases by 10% for each debuff transferred. Then applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. Damage from the second hit increases by 5% for each buff transferred and each debuff applied through the debuff spread. What a mouthful that is to say. Quite an interesting skill though. I mean, I guess if you've got loads of poisons on you or something like that, then he can really ramp up his damage. If you're going up against, I think is it Tauren? I can't remember the epic's name that just pumps out loads of poisons. Maybe that could be quite good for it. It seems like it's a champion that's probably built for arena, for these sorts of skills, especially attacking 1 enemy 2 times. So maybe it's a good skill if you've got loads of debuffs against you, but I'm not sure. It's a bit situational. You can't use him in sort of anywhere else apart from arena, in my opinion. And then on his A3, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, removes all buffs from all enemies. Damage increases by 5% for each buff removed. Fills this champion's turn meter by 15% for each enemy killed by this skill. So I guess the idea is that he can attack, kill an enemy, or kill a couple of enemies, and then pump his turn meter up and then go again with his A1. Potentially, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sold on his kit, but he might be a good champion for all I know, and no one else has got him yet. And then on his passive, at the start of this champion's turn, places a 50% increased accuracy buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on him for 1 turn. At the end of this champion's turn, takes a 30% decrease crit rate, places a 30% decreased crit rate, and 25% decreased crit damage buff on the enemy with the highest crit damage for 1 turn. So yeah, he's absolutely a champion made for Arena. I'm not sure about this kit personally. I'm not very competitive in Arena, so maybe he is really good. I'm not too sure on that. Please let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm not sold on him, to be honest. I use Georgian anyway on this account. No, I don't. I use a Hefrak on this account, and Hefrak smacks. He doesn't have much play in his kit. He normally just sort of buffs himself and then smacks, but sometimes that's all you need in Arena. You don't need all of this, all of these buff removals and debuff removals. So, an interesting champion. Let me know if I'm wrong. A cool looking champion, I can say that for sure. Definitely an orc. I don't think he would fit in any other faction, to be honest. But moving on from Jag Bonesaw, I got the legendary that I wanted, so I'm pretty happy with that. I need to make a little bit of room, and I'll be right back. I'm going to pull this last 4 just because there's no point in hoarding them at this point. I think I'll probably make back 4 Ancient Shards over the weekend just from doing sort of clan boss and stuff like that. We had, I think that was a Gator on the first one, no one interesting. More rares to feed. We've got Marauder, and then on the last 2 legendaries back to back. It's a rare, of course it is. Houndspawn, one of the dogs. Moving on, Houndspawn. And we have one last rare. So what I'll do, guys, I'll go onto my other account. We'll do exactly the same over there. And fingers crossed, we get another legendary. And here we are on the Galek account. And I'm just going to say, this account is generally my more lucky account. But we'll see how that goes. I feel like that's a bit foreshadowing, to be honest. I feel like I'm sort of jinxing myself there. A Cornelia and a Romero on the first 10 pull. Not interested. Neither of those. I mean, Cornelia is actually a really good champion. Really helpful for faction wars, she was for me. And I've seen other people use her for sort of solo content in Doom Tower and stuff like that. But I've never built her for Doom Tower. I just use her in faction wars, used her as a healer, and sort of beat that faction wars and moved on to the next one. I wasn't too interested in the Dwarfs faction war. All rares in that one, a sad sight to see. Moving on to the next one. 820 points. I can't remember what that gave me. Is it a legendary? No. So we've got Anax, Shaman, and Chinoru on that pull. The rest all rares. A Kale, the best starter champion. No one of interest though. 580 on this one. I reckon that's 2 epics. And I can almost guarantee I'm not going to be too interested in them. Valor and Flesh Terror. And no one else of interest. On to the next one. It's always worth keeping an eye out for the champions needed for the Lady Mikage fusion as well. Just even if you're pulling random shards and not really getting much luck, you might get the rares needed to be able to do that fusion. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on those champions. You can't see them in this one, in this sort of view, but if you go into your champions tab, you can see they have the little logo on them that shows their use for a fusion. So it's definitely worth looking at. Togi and Cheese. I'm going to go with Cheese. No one else of interest on that one. And that is it. That's not it. I've got another 14 left. I'm going to make a little bit of room for 14. And then we'll pull the rest of these shards. So one last 10 pull. And then we'll pull the 4 individuals just so it's equal to the other account. We've got 820 points in this one. Maybe it's a legendary. I don't think it is. No, it's just epics. Gorgorab, Armina, and Anna? Anya? Aina? Let's go with Aina. Just rares in that one, epics in that one. Not too interested though. Hopefully we get a legendary out of these 4 individuals, but you never get legendaries out of the individuals. It's always in a 10 pull where it's more fun and exciting. Halberdia, A rare. Not interested in a rare. They're just more food to go in the pile. Hound spawn. I think we've got hound spawn in the individuals on my other account. I'm not sure. Sick of seeing hound spawns. Chopper. And the last one, a legendary. No legendaries. So we got Jagbone. What is his name? Jagbone Saw on my Kale account. Unfortunately, we didn't get any legendaries on my Galek account, but it is my Galek account that got the 3 Void legendaries on my last video. So I think that probably dries up the luck quite a bit to get that in all in one pull. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you had better luck than me. Please let me know what champions you pulled and if you pulled any legendaries, and I'll see you next time.